Today's show is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at theqfilmcast.net. Just click the link in the upper right-hand corner and choose from over 150,000 titles for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. That's Audible.com.
Q.
I got something here. I want to see if you know what this is.
A Q.
A Q. That's right.
Yeah, I like that.
Hello and welcome from deep inside Jolly Roger Studio. This is the Q Filmcast. And whether you're listening online worldwide or perhaps nationwide on one of our affiliate stations, thanks for tuning in. If you don't yet know, we are the show which brings to you our review of a particular film currently streaming on Netflix Instant. Each week, we take turns queuing up a selected title, then come in here to tell you what each of us thought. And this week, we're queuing up the really, really good-looking Ben Stiller film Zoolander from 2001.
Ridiculously good-looking.
It's ridiculous.
Really good looking.
And if you're wondering, that's Matt St. Hoodie. He's really hot right now.
I'm ridiculously hot.
So that's the film Zoolander, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And if you've seen it, keep listening. See if you agree or disagree with what we have to say. If not, who knows? You may want to end up queuing this thing up yourself. So we're all here. And once again, I'm Michael, along with, to my left, James Hard Sub Savage.
What's up, Maestro?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right, man. Let's just
I've heard you want to change your nickname. You don't like Maestro. What's going on with that?
That was instituted by you alone,
Yeah.
and I don't think we had enough say into this.
Well.
I just all of a sudden became the maestro. So let's just see if we can remedy that.
All right.
The rest of us were voting for Sandra Bullock.
I have no idea why, what, how, whenever. I'm a victim here.
I might go with Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, I like Sandra Bullock.
Max,
Okay, let's keep going.
You're tearing me apart, Max.
I'm sorry.
And that is Max Gumbo Johnson.
Yes.
He's so hot right now.
As a butterfly becomes a caterpillar, so
Yes.
must you become derelict.
Yes, and this is a man who gets really, really gassy when he drinks a frothy latte, by the way.
Oh, you don't even know.
Matt St. Hoodie, how you doing?
Yeah, hot.
Yeah. Oh, we already introduced you.
That's
Forget
all right.
that.
I'm
He's
double
so
hot
hot right now. He's so hot right now.
We're going to round this thing out with the greatest producer in
that hoodie. He's so hot.
This is Adam, the greatest producer in the history, the illustrious history of the Q Filmcast. That's Adam the Bomb Rogers.
I'm very relaxed right now.
Oh, yeah, no foreign speak today, is there? This is an American film. All right, guys, we're going to get into this here in just a few minutes, and that is Zoolander from 2001, which is a Max Gumbo Johnson selection.
Yep.
Yeah, but before we do that, let's tell you how to keep up with us. Pretty much every way at this point. I think we've covered our bases. I'm not even going to get into it.
Right.
If you're on Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, YouTube, you just
If
search.
you're in the world.
If you're in the world, yeah, you just search the Q Filmcast. But actually, I recommend you go to our site, which is theqfilmcast.net.
.net.
You go there, we have listener polls, and always give us some feedback if you have any in mind. Let's talk about Zoolander from 2001.
It's about time.
I did.
Why did you?
Why did I? Because we'd gotten so heavy and dour and down and God, I was going to commit Harry Carey after that last show. So I needed to lighten it up, and we needed to watch some Zoolander. I needed to learn to read good, so I wanted to watch it.
I haven't heard the word dour in a while. That's a great word.
Well, he's been reading.
Yeah, because I learned to read good.
Right.
I learned a new word.
He didn't read so good before.
He needs to go to the Center for Zoolander. All right, well, let's talk about this film a little bit before we get into reviews and what we thought of this particular selection. This film, Zoolander 2001, written by John Hamburg. He wrote Meet the Parents and Love You, Man. This film also, as all these films that we review, inspires a top three based on the film. Max, what is this? Top three what?
Top three lovable, clueless characters.
Or
Is that what we went?
Yeah, or clueless, lovable characters. Or
Endearing
Basically-
doofuses.
endearing doofuses.
I think that's just three ways of saying the same thing.
That's exactly
They're
right.
synonymous. Right?
They're reading up the source now, right?
Likable, stupid people.
He's learned to read good and things.
Which one do you prefer when we describe you, Adam? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He's an endearing.
I like the term lovable.
How about we combine them in lovable doofuses?
Oh, that's good.
Let's
A
talk.
lovable, clueless doofus.
There you go. There you go.
Hearing.
Let's talk about the ratings on this thing. Ratings from IMDb 6.6. Max, what do you think of that?
I think that's a little low.
What about you, Hoodie?
Well, yeah, way low.
Way low? Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes, critics 64%, users 81%. What do you have to say about that, Savage?
I think the users are pretty on. Usually they're high. I understand why the critics think it's low, but
Yeah.
60%.
Most users are high.
So are most producers.
Right.
No, users.
Yeah.
It's different. He used it different.
Users are losers.
It's not Tron. So.
If you use, you lose. That sounds like a bumper sticker. Let's talk about this film here. We'll get into a little bit of a synopsis here, and then we're going to take a break for a second, and we'll come back, and we'll tell you what we thought of Zoolander 2001. Male supermodel Derek Zoolander is on his way down after 3 years of continuously winning the Male Model of the Year award. But when he is beaten by the hot newcomer Hansel,
He's so hot.
That was.
Did you practice that?
You set that up.
that was not organic, was it?
That was organic.
Yeah.
When he is beaten by the hot newcomer Hansel, Derek starts searching for a new meaning in life and an answer to why he is just so really, really good looking. As hope fades, Derek is called upon by the fashion czar Mugatu, offering him a comeback as the face of his new Derelique line. As Derek begins his comeback, he is unaware that Mugatu has other plans, which involve using him to assassinate the Prime Minister of Malaysia in an attempt to keep the cheap child labor laws from destroying his fashion empire.
It's treacherous.
But who can stop him? Derek soon finds out that having really, really chiseled cheekbones can only do so much, and he must call upon the help of the same hot newcomer that nearly destroyed him to save the world.
Who would that be?
Hansel.
Fashion.
He's so hot right now.
So hot.
Hansel.
Hansel. So someone get me a really frothy latte. Here's a trailer from the 2001 film Zoo.
His name is Zoolander. Derek Zoolander. International male supermodel. But behind those eyes is a highly trained man of action. You rock. No, you rock. And perhaps the world's only hope of stopping a sinister assassination plot. Ben Stiller. Owen Wilson.
Pop and lock it, fool!
Will Ferrell.
They're breakdance fighting.
Christine Taylor.
When I was in 7th grade, I became bulimic.
You can read minds. They must use all their skills.
If I can create a basic disguise for us, we may just be able to sneak in undetected.
Surprise! Did you find the files? They're in the computer.
They're in the computer?
To outsmart the most dangerous organization on the planet.
We got 30 years worth of files right here in this computer that are gonna bring you down.
Oh no.
Where'd all the files go?
And still find time to help the children.
I give you the Derek Zoolander Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good.
What is this?
A center for ants?
How can children learn how to read if they can't even fit inside the building?
Zoolander.
Okay, so there you have it. There's a piece from the 2001 film Zoolander.
I still can't believe it's 2001.
It's mind-bending, isn't it?
It's blowing.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's get into a little bit of Did You Know? I got some facts about this film. You want to hear them? Did you know that this was originally a spoof at a fashion industry event that began as a short skit for the 1996 VH1 Fashion Awards?
Nope. Not.
Did not know that.
Kind of did.
Did that ever air?
It did. It was a totally off-the-cuff, a completely off-the-cuff sort of thing that Stiller came up with, and then he birthed Zoolander. So there you go. Yeah. See what going on a limb can do for you?
Yeah.
Ben Stiller wrote the part of Hansel. Hansel.
He's so hot.
Specifically for Owen Wilson, and said that no one else was even considered for the role.
There you go.
Because they're brothers like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been in the trenches together a few times. Owen Wilson, who plays Hansel, wore a wig for the entire movie?
He did not.
No.
Yeah, he did, because he was filming Enemy at the Gates at the same time, so he had to keep his hair short.
You have this all.
Not Enemy at the Gates, Behind Enemy Lines. What was it?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, do you know he got that wig from Deathstalker?
I was going to say. What was the guy's name in this?
Rick Hill.
Rick Hill. It was Rick Hill's wig. And he had to keep his hair short for the entire role. Yeah, he wore a wig.
Very natural wig.
This film has been, I didn't know this, this film has been banned in Malaysia because of the use of fictional Malaysian prime minister
Well,
as a subject of assassination.
Right.
They were probably showing it on that plane. That's what happened.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
The plane
way to
again.
tie it all in, Max.
There was a riot on the plane.
That is kind of brilliant, though, isn't it? Yeah. Let's give that to Gumbo on that one there. Derek Zoolander's blue steel look evolved from Christine Taylor, who's his wife, and she's also in the film, ribbing her husband about the way he combs his hair in front of the mirror.
Oh, he actually does that.
Yeah, that's his look.
Max, give me the blue steel. Don't ever give me that look again. Want to tell you why? Because it's beautiful.
I don't know. I think
saw
that
a
was,
light behind his
I think
head.
that was El Tigre.
Oh, was that La Tigra? Oh, I'm
was
sorry.
No, it was actually Ferrari.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good, man. We got to make this a video podcast just so we can see this. Hey, look, we have a currency, and we don't use stars. We don't use thumbs up. Why? Because it's stupid. We let the film tell us what we want to do.
Right.
And tonight we're going to review this film. Our currency is Centers for Kids Who Can't Read Good and Want to Learn to Do Other Stuff Good, too.
That sounds
awesome.
great.
1 to 10.
I'm going to have to write it down.
With that
And you have to say
inflection.
just like that.
No, we're going to pass this around.
We're going to pass it around. All right, guys, let's get into this one. We always start with the guy who queued it up, and that is Max
Right.
Gumbo Johnson. Mm-hmm. 1 to 10.
1 to 10 centers for kids who can't. 1 to 10 centers for kids who can't read good and want to learn to do other stuff good too. I'm on the border. I'm on the fence here. I'm gonna go 8. I'm gonna go 8 centers for kids who want to learn to read good and do other stuff good too.
It's deserving. It's deserving. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got. I mean, it's. Say what you want. It's a silly movie.
Right.
But it's so silly in the perfect way. It's like the greatest silly in the tradition of silly movies.
Yeah.
That they just nailed almost every aspect of it. And I can't imagine somebody not liking this movie.
Oh, I have a backstory for you. I'm going to go to the producer, man. Give me 1 to 10 centers for kids who can't read good and want to learn to do other stuff good, too.
7 center good.
Wow.
Say it properly.
Come on, try it.
Try it.
He never attended school.
For kids who can't read good and want to learn to do other stuff good too.
You giving 7?
7, yeah.
All right. All right, and we're going to go over to a man who's wearing his Jacqueline Smith Kmart collection outfit. And you got it on sale, right?
Got it on
No,
sale.
it's Target.
All right, we're talking about the 2001 film Zoolander. And 1 to 10, Savage.
I'm with Max on this, man. I got to give it an 8. I got to give it an 8. Centers for kids who can't read good and want to learn to do other good stuff too.
Other good stuff.
Wow.
And we'll find out why in a little bit, right?
Yeah, because it's delightfully silly.
Delightfully silly. Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I've got a prostate the size of a honeydew and a head full of bad memories, which always leads...
Give me a little pee-pee, Michael.
This is Matt saying Hoodie. Hoodie, Centers for Kids Who Can't Read Good and Want to Learn to Do Other Stuff Good, too. How many do you give?
I'm going on a soft 8.
Soft 8's a good. Still an
For
8.
Centers for kids who can't read good and want to learn to do other good stuff.
2.
2.
All right, I think that passes
8
the...
of those.
I think that passes the final buck
Why
to
does
me,
it want
right?
to learn to do other good stuff?
That's
Okay.
a pretty good score, right?
Can I give
Far, what do you got?
Oh, what you got?
Can I give a little bit of a very short reveal to this thing?
Sure, Sandra Bullock.
I promise.
Come on, Fassbender.
I'll go with Fassbender.
Nope.
First time I saw this film, went into the theater, made it through 30 minutes, walked out.
You're crazy. You're a
here's-
humorless bastard.
Here's the deal. I was drug out. The guy I was with found no humor. I've never seen
Were you
anybody...
on the back aisle?
No. I've never seen anybody angry in a theater like the guy I was with. My buddy Steve, he's probably listening to the show. Which is actually the brilliance of this film. It's so definitive. He said, I can't take it anymore. I just saw a merman. We're leaving. He was driving, drugged me out of the theater. I said, what are you doing? I'm loving this film. What are you making me leave for?
He's a merman.
It's a merman.
Merman!
It's my son.
So that's my backstory. I got a little bit to say about that
dead
later.
to me.
But could not wait to see it again when it came out on video, and that's exactly what I did. I'm going to give this 8 Centers for Kids Who Can't Read Good and Want
Adam,
to
you're
Learn
going
to
to
Do
have
Other
to kick it up a
Stuff.
notch.
Jeez.
That's a 39.
That's not bad
On
for
Zoolander. That's about typical, actually.
Hey.
That's hot.
So, Max.
Zoolander's so damn hot.
He's so hot right now.
So that is the film Zoolander 2001. And as soon as we get Max unsandwiched from the 2 finished dwarves and a Maori tribesman.
You need to learn to respect the tea. Just follow the tea.
We started out with you were going to go back to you. You gave this 8. Tell me why.
Because in the pantheon of silly, silly movies, this is up there with the best of them. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, when Airplane and stuff like that came out, a bunch of my, I'm not going to say friends, but people I knew, they were like, oh, that movie's so stupid. I'm like, that's the point. If you're too stupid to understand that the movie is stupid on purpose and can't get the jokes, then the joke is on you. You're stupid.
Yeah.
So I think movies like this that are silly and just ridiculously silly like this, like Airplane and like Step Brothers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so out of left field. There's no way these are realistic in any way at all.
Yeah.
But they've got enough chutzpah or whatever you want to call it to really go for
you
the fences.
that.
Yeah.
Chutzpah and the shaking of the tuchus. Yeah. They go for the fences. They say, we're going to make this thing silly. We're going to go all the way out. And they did. And they succeeded.
In ways we never thought possible.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. You're making a movie about male models.
And a gasoline fight that kills everybody. Who thinks of this?
To a Wham song.
Yeah.
I mean, any movie that can pull a scene like that off and make it funny and make it work, you got to give it some credit.
Absolutely. And sometimes you don't think of a film like this being able to say, well, it had good writing. Some of these to write these things are almost as ingenious as writing anything that's emotionally heavy or anything else. This comedy can be hard to write and get it right.
Comedy's hard.
It's because he kept using the word pop.
Yeah.
And I'm tearing up a little bit. I'm like, oh, man. just love your son, Pop. Just love him.
I mean, something like this is probably as hard to write as something like the guy who wrote, Ben Stiller and the other guy that wrote it. They would have as hard a time writing something like The Godfather.
Absolutely.
As the guy that wrote The Godfather would have writing something like this.
I'm with you, because you know what? You can be kind of sensitive. You can be kind of heavy. You can't be kind of funny. You better get it right.
Yeah, you better be funny.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna go just ridiculous and just silly and just throw everything at the wall that'll stick, this is the way to do it, and it succeeded. It worked.
All right, you want to go over to the producer? This is a man who definitely puts the boom boom in. You put the boom boom into my heart, man. And you get me ready when the lovin' starts. Is that the way the song?
That's what it is.
I
He
don't
gets
like
you ready
that.
when the lovin' starts.
Whatever.
Let's go over to Adam.
Let's go over to Adam. Adam, you gave this a
7.
7. Centers for kids who can't read good and want to learn other stuff good too. Tell me why. What did you come up with?
This was a funny comedy.
All right, and on to James.
You know what, though? I don't think there's anything else to say.
As opposed to a serious comedy.
Well, it's a funny comedy. There are unfunny comedies.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen my share.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is definitely one of them, Adam. Right. So that's all you have to say. We'll get into the scenes.
Is that what you got, Mom? Really? Is that what you got?
Nah.
No,
you got a little bit more than that.
I really do. Hello.
Adam just entered puberty.
Again.
It was like last week that he did that.
No, I really dug this film. It's hilarious, and I love all the cameos in this. So
there are a ton of cameos.
Yeah, there are a ton of cameos in this thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it is a funny film. We're going to get into some of these scenes, so we'll get back to you. You're going to be able to tell me. You say it's
you're
funny?
You're a scene guy, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
You are the scene guy, so be prepared for that.
Listen to your friend Zane. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Shut up, Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
Let's go over to Matt St. Hoodie, the patron saint of quality outerwear. You tell me you gave this an 8.
An 8.
Centers for kids who can't read good and want to learn to do other stuff good
That
too.
many centers.
You gave 8 centers. Tell me why, and tell me what stood out for this film. What gave you enough to get it up high up the board there?
To get it up, Max actually nailed it. It's just a funny movie. Adam nailed it, really. But the thing I really liked most about it was the pace of the film. I thought was just great, and you had. With a lot of funny movies, you just have a bunch of random scenes that kind of sort of build a story up towards the end. But every scene that they had was crucial to the story. You couldn't really cut anything. So it's a really stupid movie that's really thin on all the fat. You can't really chop any of this stuff out.
Very tight.
So, and that's the most impressive thing. I think that harks back to actually what Max was saying.
Yeah.
That this would be a really hard movie. There's no way that I could even possibly conceive this idea.
No.
You googly and all that. I say that all the time, but
And you know what? This is not a very universal. Like, falling down the stairs is slapstick. Everybody gets it, right? I mean, a fart joke is funny worldwide, okay?
Ooh, my shoe.
This is a very definitive type of humor. You have to know what's funny here.
Oh, yeah. And the people acting it out have to do it, straight face and absolutely nail it. And there's no better person for that than Ben Stiller. Right. And I think I read an interview with him a couple years ago that said that he doesn't consider himself a comedian, really, and that's what makes him so funny, because he takes himself really seriously with everything he does. And he took himself incredibly serious with this movie, and that's what kicked it up a notch.
Yeah, and he is Zoolander. I can't imagine this being anybody else's vehicle.
Same with Owen Wilson. He was great.
Hansel.
Oh, my bad. This is one of the most perfect cast movies across the board, and the Easter eggs and the cameos are just they're everywhere. It's awesome. It's so good, and you can't get all that you are ever going to get out of it on the first listen. So first listen.
I would like to see a movie. I would like to actually see a movie about Mugatu. Actually, all right, Savage, pull your underwear out of your butt and give me a rating. Or give me a review.
Yeah, no, it was delightfully silly. I think is the best way to describe this film.
I think James is lightening up on us, guys.
Do you think so?
It's kind of nice.
It's delightfully silly. The thing with this is that Ben Stiller had developed the character of Zoolander years before, so he had explored this character. He'd known this character, and he's the funny guy. The rest of the film is the straight guy, other than Will Ferrell, who's the other kind of funny guy, but that's Will Ferrell. Even Owen Wilson, in his way, is kind of the straight guy. He's the straight goof, but he's the straight guy.
Yeah.
And the love interest is his real wife, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, Christy Taylor, is that right, Max?
Christine Taylor. Yeah. There are themes that are explored. This the who am I, which is repeated. Who am I? It's the little boy lost. It's the fraternal, the longing. Who the am I good enough?
All right, don't get all serious.
But there are these things. It's all funny, but there are these underlying themes.
I know what he's saying. Yeah,
that sell it. It's not just ridiculousness for ridiculousness.
It's because these universal themes are always brought to you so heavy, and the answers to it are so heavy that to have those same things brought to you so silly.
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Right,
and like you said, it's the big things, like your life as you know it is winding down. His career.
Yep.
His dad doesn't love him.
Right.
So I mean, he's got that father issue thing. And at the end, I teared up a little bit when his dad was like, "That's my kid. That's my boy." I was like, "That's right, it is."
And he's
so Jon Voight,
ridiculously
good looking. Yeah,
but he's no Hansel.
All right, when we get into what I thought,
I
my
wish
little
you
quick
would.
review. It's going to be quick, and thank God I wore underwear today, by the way, because I don't know. You never know when Max is going to challenge you to a walk-off.
It's a
It
walk-off.
happens.
And I would love David Bowie to walk in right now to do this.
If you can make it happen, I might actually take my underwear off.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Let me tell you why I thought this was funny. I thought this was funny because of what I said earlier. I think the humor is so specific. It's kind of like Austin Powers. I mean, unless you understand the backdrop of why this is funny, like the James Bond thing, it's not funny. And like the guy that walked out of the theater, that literally drugged me out of the theater, he didn't get it because he didn't understand where it's coming from. And like falling down the stairs, all this, slapstick, Jerry Lewis. That's universal. It's always funny. I like these ironic, surgical comedies where it's very, very specific, and the line between irony and reality are real thin.
Yeah.
Because just a little less silly, this thing's spot on to the to the supermodel world.
Yeah, to what it's really like.
That is so hilarious to me. That's why I love this film. The humor here is fresh, or it really was. I don't know. Fred Durst.
Still is. I'm still laughing out loud at this whole thing.
Yeah,
I am.
Fred Durst, Stephen Dorff,
and Gary Shandling.
Gary Shandling, the best.
Right.
And Lance from NSYNC.
Right. So there is humor here that's kind of dated. But the real buzz of this is the characters. I actually wanted more Will Ferrell, though, like I just told you.
Mugatu.
I thought that character was I wanted more of it. I really hope they give us more in the sequel.
You're about to get more. They're working on a sequel right now.
I thought that just is another example of the writing being good here. I mean, this is like, okay, we're walking a thin line here. We got a real small avenue to go between irony and parody and spot on. This film did it. I mean, the whole world of the fashion industry, right? The pretentiousness. I just love this film, man. I sat there and laughed at it. And as I'm getting drug out of this theater back in 2001, I thought, what is the difference between you and me? If you understood the irony it would be a great watch for you. You'd be laughing with me. You got to get the irony to understand how brilliant this is. But to me, it is brilliant. I think this is Ben Stiller's best directing, his best writing. I just think the character of Zoolander is one that needs to be brought to us again, just like Austin Powers. Yeah. And the fact that the audience isn't for everybody actually endears me more to this film.
Yeah.
I love this film. It's a great hour and a half. And I think
it's a short movie, right? It's like 80 minutes?
Yeah, it's not very long.
It's not real long, about an hour and a half.
But he brings Derek Zoolander to life, man. I give this an 8. But Centers for Kids Who Can't Read Good and Want to Learn to Do Other Stuff Good, too. I'm fine with that, man. I'm giving it an 8.
Other stuff is.
Yeah.
Rock climbing.
And parachuting.
Base jumping.
Base jumping.
Yeah.
And looks.
Yeah. He gave his first look today. That was crazy.
You know what I think we should do? I think we should stop right here, take a listen to Zoolander just a bit. Introduce these characters to you.
Too bad we can't take a look.
Take a look.
Take an actual look.
I think we have a clip here where Derek's actually talking about his look, or the one he's about to reveal. What's it called?
Magnum.
Magnum.
I really shouldn't be talking about it, though. It's not even close to ready.
No, it's beautiful.
It's so beautiful. Yeah,
I've been working on it for like 8 years.
Let's take a listen right here. We'll be back in a second.
So do you spend a lot of time working on these looks, thinking about them?
Oh, sure. I've been working on Magnum for at least the last 8 or 9 years.
Magnum? That's intriguing. Can I see that?
Are you kidding? I shouldn't even be talking about it. It's nowhere near ready.
Derek, I don't know if you're familiar with the belief that some Aboriginal tribes hold. It's the concept that a photo might steal a part of your soul. I mean, what are your thoughts on that if someone gets his picture taken for a living?
Well, I guess I would have to answer your question with another question. How many Aboriginals do you see modeling?
Okay, guys, there you go. There's a piece from the 2001 film Zoolander, starring Ben Stiller. Then that is the film we are talking about right now.
Yeah.
So let's get into some of these scenes, and I think we have a couple we can bounce around, right?
No,
but I'm gonna throw it to Max Gumbo Johnson. I'm gonna pass over to him. Favorite scene? I'm not gonna say favorite scene. Let's talk about a scene that stands out to you. Once the movie's done, you will say, "Hey, I want to talk about this particular scene." What is it?
The opening scene, I thought was great. The whole thing that set the whole character up and what an idiot he was.
Interview scene?
Yeah, the interview scene at the beginning.
Oh, you mean like the live footage kind of thing where they're actually going through the VH?
No, the opening scene where she's interviewing him.
I have a question for you
while
about
he's
that.
putting his makeup on and stuff.
Oh, okay,
and he shows her
actually
Blue Steel.
How many Aborigines are models?
Derek, I just have a few more questions, if that's okay.
Cool.
So when did you know you wanted to be a model?
I guess it would have to be the first time I went through the 2nd grade. I caught my reflection in a spoon while I was eating my cereal, and I remember thinking, wow, you're ridiculously good looking. Maybe you could do that for a career.
Do what?
Be professionally good looking.
Right. What would you say your trademark is, if you have one?
Well, I guess the look I'm best known for is Blue Steel.
What's that look like? It's impressive.
And then there's Ferrari and Le Tigre. The Tigre's a lot softer. It's a little bit more of a catalog look. I use it for footwear sometimes.
Can I see that?
None.
That was actually a great retort.
That's not a great retort at all.
You know, they think that the camera will steal your soul.
Wow. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that opening. I love that scene. I mean, everything he said
was the most wrong thing to say.
It was just completely the dumbest thing you could have said.
But he had absolutely no idea.
But yeah, he was completely clueless about everything he was saying.
But convicted at the same time. He was absolutely
he was totally convinced that
everything
you're
he said
an
was
idiot.
accurate.
I'm so smart. How many Aborigines are male models? Like you said, you know, it's like, what a moron.
Right.
Yeah. And it also opened up the first Easter egg, which was like Patton Oswalt as the photographer running around in the background, and then that just opened up to like I mean, there are so many good cameos in this movie that it's just you can't overlook it. Billy Zane being the best, or David Bowie being the best.
David Bowie, he got his own intro. Come on,
I still like Billy Zane better
I like
than
Billy
Bowie.
Zane because
he stepped up.
Because he said his name.
and on top of the cameos, you had all the actual, fashion models that were in this movie.
Yeah.
Like I don't know them by name, but you had
Fabio,
okay. But then during the walk-off in their corners, these guys are actual models.
Yeah. Tyrese.
You had the girl with the shaved head and the dragon tattooed on the side of her. Remember her from the 90s?
Hey, we're going to get into this walk-off here in a minute. But when I think of the walk-off, I think about him saying, "Cut me, man, cut me," and he's cutting his bangs.
Oh,
he's going,
cut his eyelash. Yeah, that was
I love the walk-off scene.
That was the best.
The walk-off scene was great. Oh, there was another one that I really, really liked. I'll think of it. Go around.
Let's go over to greatest producer here, Adam Bombs. Talk about a scene. What do you want to get into?
Oh, the gas scene.
Oh God,
with the Jeep.
That was it. The gasoline
my
fight.
favorite. The first time I saw this movie,
the gasoline.
That's when I
Julius.
fell out hysterically laughing, and people stared at me at the movie theater.
You know what? That's about the time I stood up, belly rolling in the aisle, and my buddy's like, "We're leaving." Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
What makes that scene so funny? That to me, that is the funniest scene of the movie.
Wham made it
because they start out throwing orange Julius's or something on
it actually starts out with him like driving to the gas station, and they're all like wearing their green, yellow, blue, and red, and they're all perfectly situated in their perfect Jeep, and they're all
waving at everyone,
and they're just it's just the total fashion shoot all the way to the gas station, and then they have the gas fight, which is it's completely retarded. And Ben Stiller walks away, and he looks over at him endearingly, and he's like, shaking his head like I love these guys. These guys are so cool.
And I also liked how when the thing exploded, the Frappuccino smashed into the camera lens.
Oh yeah,
they come flying at you like a hurling piece of shrapnel.
Orange Frappuccino.
Right. Starbucks appreciate it.
Yeah, a little bit of product placement there.
A model idiot.
A model idiot.
A model idiot.
Hard Sub Savage. Let's get into some scenes here, and let's talk about a few more of these things. Which one do you want to talk about?
It's got to be when he looks at her and he understands that the night before, between the two Finnish dwarves and the Maori tribesmen, when he thought that this might be the one for her.
That's another scene that made me roll. There's one scene in there where they're actually going around showing the group thing.
Yeah.
And there's this strange looking Maori
the Sharpa.
Right. Yeah, he's just going,
and when they were asking her and they were laughing at her bulimia.
Yeah.
I throw up at least once a month.
Right.
It's a good way to lose 5 pounds before a shoot.
When was the last time you were intimate? It's like 2 years.
Right.
How do you live?
You mean like 8 days?
Well, yeah, but all these things I've said for years, and I've completely. I mean, this is a part of literally who I am. But like, how do you live? I say that all the time. I'm taking crazy pills. I say that all the time, and I've completely disassociated it from the movie. So watching this again, I was like, oh, that's where I got that.
Yeah.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, he also says that he hasn't had sex in 2 years as well.
Zoolander said that?
No, Matt.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you don't have to bring that up.
No, but
I'm taking crazy pills.
That scene, that intimate scene where they've become friends and they've reconciled.
Yeah.
And there's a fun intimacy to it. You know, you see a lot in their character. You know, they're not so bad. They don't think that they're better than anybody else. They just think they're different.
Right.
And there's an honesty to that. There's a simplicity and an honesty to it. And then it gets busy.
And you know what? Why? Yeah.
Finnish dwarves
and a Maori tribesman. If you haven't seen this film, and by the way, that scene I was reading, apparently there's like 20 minutes of lost footage or unused footage there where it got pretty racy, and
they had to cut it.
They had to cut it.
It's probably in Ben Stiller's house.
It probably is in Ben Stiller's house.
He's like, hey, when Christina Taylor's not around, that's what he watches.
His wife, right? Yeah. Be careful there.
Yeah.
But
I'm saying.
You know, the thing I loved about this film, we talk about all these scenes. What make them funny isn't because of Finnish dwarves. It isn't because of exploding gas stations. It's because of the irony. The irony is the attitude behind it is real.
Yeah.
I mean, the pretentiousness is real. And that fine line between this is absurd and this is real, it's a thin one. This film's right on it throughout the whole thing.
And you can throw sincere in there, too.
Sincere, yeah.
Yeah, Ben Stiller was completely sincere through the whole thing.
Absolutely. The only pretension is Will Ferrell, the Mugatu. And I'm surprised we've got this far in the show without somebody saying...
Do not make fun of Mugatu.
Lovely, lovely Milla Jovovich.
Well, I tried to.
She's one of my top three.
Cameos, yeah.
She's too bangy for
That's
me.
That's not a cameo.
She's
a star. Man.
And that car she drove.
Oh, yeah, a piece of crap French car.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Milla.
they're awesomely breaking down.
Milla Jovovich is in this film.
Well, you know what?
But you know what you can't say about Mugatu? He invented
the keyboard
necktie. What have you done?
I've owned one of those.
I think Moogberg.
I'm not surprised at all.
Did.
I like keyboards.
Joseph Moogberg invented the keyboard tie.
You know what?
I think Mugatu did it.
That's a character I want to talk about because to me, I thought there wasn't enough of that. That stole the show for me.
Yeah. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
There's not enough time. Do you know how much time it takes to set up a meeting like that?
Ferrell stuck this one.
I'm sorry. Did my pin get in the way of your ass? I order you to lose 5 pounds right now.
Immediately. Every time he was on the screen, I was like, yeah. That's comedy. That's the way it goes. To me, my favorite scene, or at least one of them I think back, is the brainwashing back before they started these child labor laws. Kids could work as much as they wanted.
I want to work.
I want to work. I thought this was one of Ferrell's better turns, and there was enough of it. And at the end, when he's going, don't you people know that's the same look? It's like the one guy...
crazy pills.
Yeah, the one guy you could relate to was the bad guy. Right. You know?
Actually, and he actually... go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll say my favorite part with him was when him and his assistant were fighting.
Yeah.
And they just had this awkward moment of staring at each other, and it was... It was just hysterical.
Loved Ferrell in this film. Hey, producer, what did you think of the walk-off? If I had to do a walk-off with anybody here at this table, it would be the producer, because he never wears underwear.
Right.
But what do you think?
So you would automatically lose.
I would wait.
No, win. He would win.
He couldn't pull them off.
He couldn't pull them off.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have to. Maybe they're invisible underwear.
Oh, believe me, I can pull it off.
No, they'd at least have some brown stain on them.
You know, you can get 4 good days out of a pair of underwear if you go inside out and backwards.
No.
I did not know that. And I don't think I'll be finding out.
Inside out and backwards gets you 4 straight days, buddy. Let me tell you.
You know what?
Inside out, you turn me.
But what did you think of the walk-off scene? That's another standout film scene, actually, from this movie.
Oh, David Bowie stole it. I can't help it, but I love David Bowie, so...
I'm sorry, he did not steal that scene.
The split scene stole the scene.
I loved it. Oh, and the soundtrack with Moby doing the Michael Jackson Beat It remix was awesome.
That scene was so good.
Yeah, everything about it was great. And,
Billy
and
Zane
I think honestly,
stole the scene.
yeah, Billy Zane and the cameos are. I mean, that it was what was happening off of the catwalk.
Right.
Off the catwalk.
What did you think of? I want to ask Max this question. What did you think of? By the way, you know Vince Vaughn's in this movie. Never said a word.
He played the brother.
Yeah,
and they all had the same
bar.
exact hair. That's the only thing that brought them together. What did you think of the coal mine scene? I like that too.
I like the coal mine scene, especially when he was all in blackface and he jumped out at him. That scared him.
You know, that brings me. Have you guys seen the movie Young Einstein?
Oh yeah,
Youngenstein.
Young Einstein.
Not in a long
Yahoo
time.
Serious.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Right. So he blows himself up and he's got blackface and he kisses his girlfriend and she's got his lipstick on him and she's got blackface on her. And this movie completely stole that from Young Einstein, which was done like in '92 or something.
I remember
crazy.
this movie.
Yeah.
You brought this up, and now I recall this. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, one of my favorite movies. So I saw this and I was like, that's Young Einstein. He's totally stole that from Yahoo Serious. You can't fool me.
I like the relationship.
Damn you, Ben Stiller.
Yeah, I like the relationship between Jon Voight, his dad, and him.
Pop?
You mean Pop? Yeah.
I think I've got the black lung.
You've only been down here a month or a day.
A day.
Yeah. What did you think of the? And then he sees his son. He's watching. He's looking there at the bar. He's trying to come to grips with it, whether or not he should really embrace his son or not. And he's almost there. And then the merman commercial comes on.
Oh yeah.
And then you go to the end of the movie, and when they were watching a football game before, now they're showing the fashion show in the same coal mining town.
Right,
so
right.
why?
So redemption.
Why are they watching the fashion show?
Why are they watching? Right. That's what I'm saying. What? Does that make sense?
Well, there's the breakdance fight too.
Yeah.
What is
Pop
the
and lock, fool.
The breakdance fight when Hansel
And the DJ.
jumped up into the DJ
And,
booth.
Oh,
they
that's
call him
right,
One
that's
Eye.
right.
He kept changing the fader from Relax to Rocket by Herbie Hancock.
Oh, that's right.
Breakdance fighting.
Breakdance fighting.
Oh, there's so many things in this film that are funny, man, that you can always go back to. I hope they're
Essay?
universal. I hope they are universal. I hope they go on forever because this is a well-written, well-constructed film. The humor's tight, man.
Here's one of the things I really liked about this movie.
Yeah.
You know, they'll show this stuff. Like, if you ever watch CNN, they'll have, like, CNN headline news, or they would always say, and this week, the Paris fashion show, and you'd see these people, and they're like, in these ridiculous clothes. I mean, they're the most ridiculous things you've ever seen.
You would never wear.
Yeah, and they're saying, the so-and-so collection is so brilliant this year. And you're like, what are these people, these vapid idiots talking about? They're sitting here self-promoting themselves, trying to uphold what they do as some noble profession, and they're just idiots.
Yeah.
They're just stupid. It's like when the guy that did Borat, Sacha Cohen, came out with the Bruno movie a few years ago.
Yeah.
And he completely skewered these people.
Right.
And nobody apparently got the joke, I guess.
Yeah.
But they do the same joke in here. They're totally the whole derelict line.
Yeah.
Perfect. I mean, come on.
Well, I don't think Stiller's intention was not to beat you over the head with the joke of the fashion industry in this. I mean,
it was an integral part of the.
But it was a big part of it.
It was. It was. But I think it was just his character as a model was an integral part.
But that's besides
not
the
like
point.
Bruno. It was
not really.
Bruno's different.
Not really, because that theme played through the whole movie with her, shopping at J.C. Penney's.
Yeah.
And just how they dressed, in their off time, right?
Yeah,
the way that the models.
But
were.
not with only the derelict thing was the ridiculous fashion in this.
No, everything was ridiculous.
Everything
that had Mugatu written all over it was completely ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, look at Mugatu. Look at the guy.
He had his poodle dressed up
would sell. That stuff would sell.
To who?
Because it's ripped off of what Cotier, right? The jacket that his manager had on was Mugatu, but it looked like a Cotier jacket, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know.
I don't know that I.
I mean,
actually know
Mugatu
that.
had a corset on, for crying out loud.
And by the way, we're talking about the 2001 film. Just to jump in here, in case you're going, what's the guy's talking about? This is Zoolander, people. We're talking about Zoolander.
I love seeing professions and stuff that I just despise as vapid and stupid and ridiculous. Just made the total butt of a joke, and that's another reason.
So you don't like fashion, as
no,
what you're saying.
And the cherry on top of that was that you had the actual models that like thrived in this world, like totally making fun of it in this
Joining
movie.
in on
and
the
we're
joke.
talking like Milla Jovovich, top of her field right there.
Yeah.
And the two guy models, I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah, for this to work, there has to be a sense of reality to it. That okay, this is getting real close to the way it is.
Well, they all got
and I think that's why these models got involved in this film, because they're like, okay, guys, we're going to be a little bit of a consultant here.
Oh, sure.
You're real close to reality, and that's what's going to be funny.
Well, they got in on the joke with them,
Yeah.
and they said, you know what, you guys are really not that far off about how stupid and silly this whole industry is. Because it really, really is.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Even the brainwashing thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was brainwashed to kill the prime minister, but you could, I mean...
And he was vicious about it, too, when that music kicked in.
That's pushing it a couple notches, but brainwashing in the fashion industry, like Max was saying, you have people wearing the most ridiculous thing because this guy over here says that's awesome.
It's like the David Duchovny thing. It says, male models, they just do what they're told. No, we
face
don't.
And body boys.
No, we don't.
We're
yes,
a little different
you do.
than the face and body boys.
Yeah, we think a little different, you know.
Why?
And that whole conspiracy theory thing, that was brilliant.
The whole thing was brilliant. You know, the one character that kind of felt a little unhashed to me, and maybe that's why it worked, is because it was almost like it was misplaced, was the Jerry Stiller character, because he was so much not a fashion guy. Ballstein, yeah.
I think that was the point of the joke. This guy
That's what I'm saying.
Totally can't pull any of this stuff off, yet he's the one totally dictating who is going to do
That's
this.
what I'm saying. It seemed so misplaced that it seemed perfectly placed, and it worked here.
Just give me a little pee-pee.
It's a casserole, for Christ's sakes. It'll
hold.
So, do you think that was a gray rug that they pasted to his chest, or
No,
that's
his real hair, and that's Ben Stiller's dad.
Yeah, and his mom was
and
in
his
this
mom,
too.
and his sister and his brother-in-law, I think, too.
We haven't talked enough about Jerry Stiller.
Well, no, we haven't. We can never talk enough about
Stiller.
Jerry Stiller. What about Owen Wilson? I mean, he's like the
Hansel, man.
Hansel.
He's so damn
hot right now.
What did you think of his performance, and what did you think of his place in this film, Max?
I loved it. The whole thing with the scooter.
Yeah.
What made the scooter funny? I never really understood that.
Because he wore it on his back in a
And
quiver.
and the razor was cool back in 2001, apparently.
That's another thing like you were going back to, like, these people are just sheep. They just do whatever's cool. They say, oh, razors are cool. You need to have one. So Hansel says, oh, yeah, I guess I better get
now
one.
explain the yo-yo.
Oh, because it's a stupid, silly thing, and it's like, oh, look, I'm good at the yo-yo.
Okay, it's a stupid, silly thing, and he's really, really good
He's
at it.
really, really good at it.
Ridiculously good at it.
I'm sure that was a stuntman.
Yeah.
Well, we know
really,
that.
but at the end of it, it was
Well, I don't
very
think-
integral to the end because he threw the yo-yo and it got the gun. So
that's why.
And
he was
good at-
establishing his technique with
He
the
was
yo-yo.
good at breakdancing, too.
All right.
He was just good.
He could
likes
do everything.
He could walk off. I mean, this guy.
What about you,
He
producer?
spent
What did
time
you
with his friends at that mountain.
It was actually a dream. Yeah.
What did you think of Hansel in this film, Adam? What you got there?
He was hot.
He was hot.
Enough said.
He's so hot right now.
He's so hot right now.
Mugatu said it all.
You know, that was a funny scene to me, and it's so
Relevant?
it's relevant. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Poignant.
No.
Red?
Melancholy?
Discombobable.
That's a better word.
No,
but
Geriatric.
Sherpa.
No,
Plethora.
that's a.
Meat.
Valentine.
This may need some editing.
Meatloaf.
He was
No.
so what?
No. But that's a scene in this film that I think that was real simple and real kind of inconspicuous. That's the word I wanted to look for. Was when Mugatu says, "Oh my God, it's Hansel. He's so hot right now."
so
He
hot
had to
right
sneak
now.
that in. He had to shoehorn that in.
Yeah.
He's so hot right now. To me, that's funny. I mean, that's a funny joke to me that just works for the
Because he
film.
said it every time.
He said it every
Just
single
like
time.
you guys.
It's funny.
It's funny. You can't help but say Hansel without saying he's hot. Here's one other thing I want to mention real quick about Mugatu. He's such this terrible, awful figure in the movie, but at the same time, for the first probably 3/4 of the movie, he comes off as sort of a sympathetic guy.
Yeah.
He's in that meeting at the beginning with all these honchos, and he's like, I can't do that. I don't have time to do this. Are you crazy?
I have a show.
It takes months, and I've got a show
Yeah.
coming up. I've got a new line coming out. And then he's with his employees, and the guy gives him the latte, and I'm intolerant. And he gets all mad, and he says, I'm sorry, just go get me a different one. And then Zoolander comes in, and he's real nice to him, and he's real understanding. No, Derek's right. Derek, he seems like a pretty nice guy.
Yeah.
And then you've got to go like all crazy and stuff at the show. But at the end of the show, he's the only one that makes any sense because he's screaming at everybody.
But you know,
it's the same look.
Yeah, but at the end,
throwing star.
he couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't take the fact that we didn't understand how insignificant these people were.
That was the Jerry Stiller.
So at the end, it's like, Mugatu's the guy I can relate to. That's it.
Yeah, and Jerry Stiller's the guy that turns around and said, I can't take it anymore. I've been doing this for 30 years. I
Yeah.
got to come clean. Which was great because he got on the phone, and that's one of my favorite scenes.
And
The files are in the computer.
with the flock of seagulls
in the
hair.
computer.
I mean, Mugatu's incredible hairstyle.
And his dog's hair.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah, and the makeup that he did with the little compact thing turned into
yeah.
completely different.
Oh, wait a
people.
second.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I need to take better notes about the movie.
This is like
Yeah.
the best SNL movie ever made.
It is like the best SNL skit of all time.
Right.
Yeah, it really
Tiny
is.
phone. Tiny phone.
God, yeah. You see, that's something else, too. It might be a little dated, like the tiny phone thing. That's hilarious in 2001.
That is hilarious now because
It's still funny.
no,
Phones
in
are getting
2001,
bigger.
phones were getting smaller and
But
smaller.
now they're
and
getting a little bit
smaller.
bigger now. You get tablets now.
Exactly. So that makes it even more funny because everybody in 2001 thought that the phone was going to be like embedded in like a fingernail, like dude had.
Yep.
I mean, really, it was like, what's the next step the phone's going to take? It'll be in your fingernail or implanted in your ear. And
Yeah.
we were idiots in 2001.
And did you see the look of insult that Stiller gave Christine Taylor, whatever her name was, Matilda, when she told him to turn his phone off? Are you out of your mind? Like, even that was prophetic.
insane.
Even that then was prophetic. Like, no, you don't live without your phone, All right, well, let's wrap this thing up, and that is the 2001 film. Zoolander. Thanks for queuing this one up, Max Gumbo Johnson.
My pleasure.
I felt like we needed to kind of go here. We needed to go to a place where it was light, it was fun, it was good fare.
a happy place.
And it was good looking.
It was a
We
happy
need to go
place.
to a good looking
And
place.
it was really, really good looking. I think you gave this 8 centers for kids who can't read good and want to learn to do other stuff good too. Right, Max?
I did.
You
I'm
gonna
gonna
stick
stick with
there?
an 8. I'm gonna stick with an 8.
What about you, producer? What are you going to go with?
I'm sticking with a 7.
Come
He's sticking
on.
with a 7. You can't bump up?
That's
No,
high. That's high.
I like it. It's not
That's-
bad.
that's not a bad
But
rating.
It's not like
I want
super
a
genius.
straight.
Yeah, I want a straight too. I want
Give me a
flush.
straight 8.
Come on, give it an 8.
Give us an
It's
8.
a poker.
Give us an 8.
8.
Give me the looks one more time, guys.
Wait.
Ooh. Okay.
8! Yeah, but you don't know this. I didn't give you any of those looks. I gave up my own look. It was called the Q.
It was,
Like, the look I gave you was the Q. It was a little
Magnum.
You gave him the Sandra Bullock.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
The Fassbender.
All right, so we're going 8 across the boards, right? Can we say that?
8 across.
Let's go 8.
8 across. 8 straight.
8 centers for kids who can't read good and want to learn to do other stuff good too.
That's a straight 40.
Straight
Wow.
40. That's a high rating for a film.
I'm
like
glad
this.
it got 40. I feel good about
I am
that.
too.
I like Zoolander. Man, I'm ready for a sequel. Max, I'm glad you brought this up because I was dragged out of this theater, and I thought to myself, either the joke's on me or the joke's on the guy dragging me out of this thing. But I'm laughing for some reason. I'm glad you bros backed me up on this.
Bros? No.
You know?
No.
No.
I'm not your bra. Bra.
Too good, man. Nice segue. Nice segue. Okay. All right, guys, so let's get into it then, our top 3. And once again, Max, top 3 what? This film inspired our top 3.
Lovable, clueless doofuses that we like and love.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Adam right now. We're talking about the film. Max Gumbo Johnson. I want you to give me your number 3, adorable doofus. What's your number 3? What you going to go with?
I have a long list.
There's a lot of these.
You do. I mean, you always have a long list.
I had a list until I looked at Max's. I'm gonna defer to Max on all of mine tonight.
Chad Feldheimer from Burn After Reading.
Oh,
the Brad Pitt character.
Never thought of it. Fantastic.
Loved that guy. He was the dumbest thing on the earth. But boy, was he in shape, and you couldn't help but love his
And he was ridiculously good looking.
And he is ridiculously good looking. He's Brad Pitt.
Good choice there, Max Gumbo Johnson.
Thank you.
I'm going clockwise. That means I go straight to Adam, the greatest producer. What's your number 3 clueless, lovable character? You
Cousin
clueless,
Eddie.
lovable character.
Cousin
That's
Eddie.
a good one.
Cousin Eddie. Oh, that's fantastic. From what?
Oh, from Vacation.
Well, what particular film would you say?
I'd probably go Christmas Vacation.
I would go Christmas,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was even more clueless than that, wasn't he?
Oh, he stole the movie. He stole that whole movie.
That's a good pick. How did I not think of that?
I don't know.
Because you're a lovable doofus.
You know what I'm going with? Otto from A Fish Called Wanda.
Oh, yeah, he was dumb.
He was dumb. Don't call me stupid.
Yeah, he got mad when you called him stupid. Yeah, that's right.
Did you like that movie?
Oh, I love that movie, yeah.
He was
so upset.
He won the Academy Award for that, am I correct?
I don't think so.
No, I think he won it. No, he did. Producer, get on that. He won it. Rightfully so. One of my great performances. Kevin Kline, one of my favorite performances in the comedy vein for sure. What's yours, Savage?
It's tough. I'm going to go with Jeff Bridges in Dumb and Dumber. Not.
Well, that was not Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges and
no, yeah,
you're thinking
Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels.
Yeah, my bad. Jeff
That's
Daniels
okay.
and Dumb and Dumber.
We love James here at the Q. He's special.
He's a special. He wants to learn to read good and everything.
Right.
You need to go for the Center for Kids Who Want to Read Good too.
Actually, you want to learn to do other stuff.
That's right. Exactly. Like name people right. Jeff Daniels, not Jim Carrey. I find his character.
He was a little more devious.
Yeah. But Jeff Daniels was lovable doofus.
That brings us to Matt St. Hoodie, the patron saint of quality outerwear. What's your number 3?
I'm going to go with John Candy's character in Trains, Planes, and Automobiles.
You're talking about Del Griffith.
Okay. You have it on your list, apparently. You can't help but love the guy, and he screws up everything that he ever does.
You know, that's considered a big Oscar snub that he didn't get nominated for that.
No?
I think so. That's
he won the Oscar for Fish Called Wanda. Best
Thank you.
supporting
He did?
role.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
sure
Okay.
did.
My
20
bad.
minutes later, producer
1989.
comes
Right on top of that.
Love you, man.
I was
timing
waiting for y'all
is
to
great.
come in. Come on.
Max Gumbo Johnson, what's your number 2? Clueless, lovable characters inspired by the film Zoolander.
I'm going to have to go with H.I. McDonough, Raised in Arizona. As portrayed by.
You would.
I would, because it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. That's a good choice.
He doesn't seem clueless to me, but
he's walking along and clueless. He knew where he wanted to be.
No, he did some pretty dumb stuff in that movie. I mean, he did some really dumb things. I mean, he went back for the instruction book on the baby. I mean, come on.
I've never had a baby, but I would think that they would come with an instruction book.
Well, then you would get along with H.I. pretty good.
Producer, Adam, the bomb, drop one, number 2, go.
I'm going to drop 2. Oh, wait. That's
Wait a
not-
second.
Drop a number 2.
That's called a deuce, buddy.
Can we leave that?
He's dropping a deuce.
The Stork Brothers from One Crazy Summer.
God, I can't
Bobcat
recall.
Goldthwait.
I can't call that. I can't recall that.
You don't remember?
Is
He
that
dressed
the
as
race?
Godzilla and, the boat race and all that.
You do recall.
Nope. I was thinking the car race with the announcer. I don't even think that's the same movie.
No,
I think
Better
you're
Off
thinking
Dead.
of Better Off Dead with the Chinese.
You are.
Savage.
That's
You
what
see
I was
that?
thinking of.
No, I haven't seen it.
I remember the
What?
Godzilla suit. One Crazy Summer was a pimple on the
hilarious.
ass of Better Off
Film.
Dead.
Thank you.
It really
Stork
was.
Brothers.
Adam and I have had this argument for years.
What? Which
Years.
one was better? Better Off Dead or One Crazy Summer?
Better off.
Better
Dead.
Off Dead.
Better Off Dead is a way better.
Way
movie.
better.
Oh yeah.
No
But
doubt
I
about
like
it.
the Stork Brothers.
Well, we'll investigate this and get back to you for its relevancy. You know,
You
my,
should have
number,
gone like Slapshot or something.
my number 2, I'm going with Ishmael from Kingpin.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
I can figure some things out for myself, as he's sitting in the urinal.
Hey everybody, there's a blank storm coming.
Yeah, I'm going with Randy Quaid. That's what I'm. Wait,
That's his second appearance.
That's the second Randy Quaid appearance. I didn't think about this,
Oh, man,
but I
that's
do
a
like.
good one.
I do like that performance. James Hartsub Savage, number 2.
Number
Freaking spit it
2,
out.
Peter Sellers, Inspector Clouseau, and all the Pink Panther stuff. That's,
Do we need to take a break and reread our list?
We should get together beforehand.
Nah,
Man.
this makes it. This puts twists and turns.
all right, number 2, Peter Sellers.
How could you not? Matt St. Hoodie. Number 2, go.
Steve Martin and the Jerk.
Yeah, look at that.
Naven Johnson.
Naven Jansen.
He was born a poor black child.
He was.
I had my first number 1. Nope, can't do that. Had my second number 1. Nope, can't do that. Nice choice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that is... I've told you this before. That's a time capsule film for me. That's my top 5.
It's one of the few tactile films that just defines me.
What about your number 1, Max? Gumbo Johnson.
I'm not changing it. Peter Sellers, Jacques Clouseau.
Never saw the remake, though, with Steve Martin.
I'm not gonna.
No.
I don't want to either.
What's the point?
What's the point here in number 1 from Adam? But we'll find out. What is it, Adam?
Mr. Bean.
No.
Don't pick Mr. Bean.
Adam the Bomb.
No,
Drop it.
I gotta go. Baby Godzilla.
What the hell? I knew it was going to be something.
Never mind. Moving on.
Baby Godzilla. What is wrong with you?
Clumsy.
Godzilla.
Max, I need some help here.
So he was a baby.
Let's talk about Mr. Bean.
Baby Godzilla.
He's going Baby Godzilla. He was a baby. He wasn't clueless.
What's your number
Baby
2,
Godzilla.
Maestro?
He was a clueless baby.
Well, we're up to number 1s.
It's the number 1. What's your
Listen,
number 1?
my first number 1 was Naven R. Johnson. My second number 1 was Inspector Clouseau. I'll go with my third backup, and that is going to have to be Jeff Spicoli.
Spicoli. I thought
Okay.
about Spicoli.
I didn't want to repeat. I wanted to
I get it.
reiterate.
I
there
get
you
it.
go. Jeff Spicoli.
Uno Nicolette.
Yeah. Mr. Hand. Savage. You have a number 1 there rolling around.
Well,
what is it?
I'll go Lou Costello in anything he did.
Not bad.
I'll particularly go with Abbott and Costello versus Frankenstein.
That's a good answer.
They were both kind of dumb.
No, Abbott was sharp. Abbott knew what was going on, but Costello was the lovable doofus. He was the straight man. So Lou Costello in anything, particularly they meet Frankenstein. So
That's a good choice. Well, what's your number 1 there, Hoodie? You talk about. All right, give me your number 1.
Bill Murray and Caddyshack.
Oh, that's
there you
so
go.
Carl Speckler.
How did I not think of this?
What are you talking about? That's the number 1.
Here's where I'm going to part ways with you. I don't know how clueless he was. He was playing the system a little bit.
And losing.
But if I shoot all the golfers, isn't that bad for business?
you got a hold of some C4, and he was okay.
Cannonball coming in.
You got to go to Max. He's got the way
Max?
better than what he actually said is on his list.
Right.
Oh no, those are the best 3. I got a ton of them.
I'm giving you the runway. Give me a walk off of names. What is
Okay,
it?
you want me to go down this real quick? Rocky Balboa, specifically in Rocky 2.
Nah.
Buzz Lightyear, Buford T. Justice, Smoking the Bandit, Mr. Bean and Mr. Bean, Louis Tully in Ghostbusters, John Plutarski in Animal House, Dale Doback and Brandon Huff in Step Brothers, Alan in The Hangover, Ernest P. Worrell in any Ernest movie,
He saves
Beavis
things.
and Butthead in
Whoa.
Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Glad you brought Beavis and Butthead in.
Everybody in Idiocracy. All 4 of the guys in Anchorman, Ricky Bobby in Talladega Nights, and Borat.
And no Dewey Cox.
Bill and Ted.
No, Dewey Cox is a genius.
Yeah, the guy, he's doing pretty well for a 14-year-old with a wife and a baby. So,
You know what, though? I rescind. You're right. He's a genius. Anything from you, Adam? What do you got to add?
I said Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted. Man, of course Bill and Ted. What about Forrest Gump?
No.
Well, how about if we'll end on our my one honorable mention. That is, if we're talking about clueless characters, what about Cher from Clueless? Cher,
Oh, yeah.
Alicia Silverstone. Didn't we have a conversation about her recently?
We did. I can't remember exactly what we touched on, but
I think we talked about things we would like to touch on.
Enough of that. All right, guys. I threw this out to Twitter a little while ago. Had a little bit of a response here. You know what @beyond_memory said?
No.
Derek Zoolander and Hansel McDonald.
There you go.
Doth Rakinder at ROA Sender said Clark Griswold, Carl Spackler, Harold and Lloyd, anyone in Anchorman.
Yeah.
At Rational Panic, Naven R. Johnson, and Rachel at Rachel Heine. Mark from Epic Records.
Empire Records.
Empire Records.
What did I say?
Epic Records.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I haven't seen Epic Records.
I meant Empire Records.
It sounds like a ripoff of Empire Records.
Boy, do I feel clueless.
Asylum put it out.
That's going to conclude it. There is our rendition, our breakdown, our review of 2001 Zoolander. Once again, if you want to keep up with us, theqfilmcast.net. And that is it. We got our big reveal here, and that means it's a Matt St. Hoodie pick, and I'm at the edge of my seat. I'm falling off the chair in steep anticipation of what he's going to tell us. What's next week's film, Matt? Hoodie.
The American Tale.
The American taste.
Wait a
Starring
second.
Fievel?
Are we watching the Rat Mouse show? What are you talking about?
It's John Clusi.
John Clusi?
John Clusi?
George Clooney
It's
as
called The American.
Fievel fighting off an assassin.
The American.
The American, yeah, that's what it is. Good job.
The American.
Yeah.
Can't believe you got it from that description of mine.
The Merkin.
The Merkin.
That's it, man. So
Very
that's our big
movie-ish.
reveal. That is The American. That is next week. That's a Matt saying.
I'm so excited. I just can't hide it.
Really? All right, so that's it, guys. We will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to offer your thoughts, once again, theqfilmcast.net. And that is Zoolander 2001. We'll see you next week when it's The American.